drama queens and heroes acting out there on a silver screen. Come grab a seat, popcorn is on me.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here, and thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to dive into cinema with us right here at C19 TV. We're really excited this week to offer you an inside look at filmmaking for several films that you can currently find available in theaters and some for home delivery during the holiday season and awards season. So Thomas and I, got to tell you this, Thomas and I had a chance to interview some of these filmmakers to learn about their crafts and learn about their films. We thought it'd be great to share some of those with you today right here on Meet Me at the Movies. So sit back, grab some hot cocoa, maybe even a piece of cardboard and a crayon, and take some notes. And here we go. Hello, welcome to a Meet Me at the Movies Open Dialogue special interview as we explore a film that some would call a Christmas film, some would call an action film, and some would even call it a family drama. And honestly, Silent Night is just that. At its core, it's a film that has a heart of drama fueled by family tragedy. And there's action, but the action doesn't really kick in until about an hour into this film. And the lead talent, Joel Kinnaman, I'm really excited to be able to have him with us right here on Open Dialogue to talk about this new Lionsgate film, Silent Night. Joel, hi, this is Noel Manning from Meet Me at the Movies Open Dialogue. Hope you're doing well.
Noel and Joel, you know, we should go on the road.
Oh, hey, count me in.
Yeah, two-man show. Yeah, it's going to be great.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Different types of wear.
Especially if you bring some of the accoutrements you had in Silent Night. I would definitely go on the road with you for sure.
At least you'd be safe, you know, because it's mostly weapons.
Yes, that's exactly right. And a lot of great training. I gotta love the training montage. That was some good stuff, man.
Oh yeah, no, I whip you into shape real quick.
Well, man, I got to tell you, the first hour of Silent Night is absolutely brilliant. It shows us this loving father who's in mourning, and he transitions into something quite different than before he was with that family loss. Talk to me, if you would, about how this character and the story spoke to you, maybe when you first saw it and maybe after it was over.
Yeah, I mean, this was a very big challenge for me. It was an incredibly intense shoot and a very intense role, the most intense of my career. First off, you know, the guy goes through an absolute tragedy. The film is about a man who loses his son to a stray bullet of a gang shootout, and just loses his connection with love, basically, and cannot reconnect to life, can't reconnect to his wife, and just becomes obsessed with the notion of making the people that took the light of his life away pay for it. And it's a descent into revenge, and you know, it's a very intense, you know, high-paced action film, but on a character level, it's a tragedy about a man that loses his humanity.
Yeah, this film says so much through the character expressions, the actions, the interactions, and it does it without dialogue. And you talked about this being such an intense shoot for you. Talk about the challenges that most people may not realize that you have to go through to do something without dialogue.
Yeah, it's you know, I had some friends that were they were saying before this film, they were like, oh, so we can hang out now, you know, you don't have to go home and learn your lines every night. But I'm like, oh, this is going to be hard work, believe me. And it was, you know, in the art of the craft of acting, the dialogue can actually, like, it helps you access emotions. It helps you get into it, and also you can sort of hide behind what you can say things in a certain way, and it can make you seem like you're emotionally engaged. But here, you don't have any of that. So the story, you're telling the whole story with your eyes and the little, facial expressions that only basically happen when you are deeply affected by emotion or rage or intense thoughts. So it was a lot more demanding. I was forced to prepare for basically every take of this film in the same way that I would prepare for the most emotional scene of another film. So I was running around like a madman on the set, just like kicking and screaming before a take, just to sort of get the intensity up and the emotional. You sort of have to lose control a little bit to access those kind of deep emotions. So I would create these little moments of losing control in some way, of just like screaming and kicking and throwing a chair in the wall, and then just kind of try to concentrate that energy into the eyes and then play the scene. So it was intense.
Well, it really worked. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I just was drawn into it from the beginning, and I stayed with it and just engaged with it in a way that I really cared about the character and about what was going on. So you did such a marvelous job relaying that to the audience. And John Woo is such a poet as a director, especially in action sequences. Can you share some thoughts about John's approach to the action art form that may surprise our audience, or maybe surprised you?
John is really, he is one of the masters of film, but also like the OG master of the action genre. And it was incredible to watch him work and see how he sort of solved problems on set, and the way that he designed shots, and especially here when you don't need to waste any time filming someone who talks and then cutting to the person that listens. He could just design a beautiful cinematic shot that tells the story of that whole scene. And he did the same thing with the action. But the character is so important, to him, and that's what he was emphasizing from the beginning. Like, you really have to get into the emotion of the character and get the audience to completely go on this ride. And then when the ride begins, he's relentless.
Yeah, Joel, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and thank you for such a wonderful film. It was amazing to watch, and it's one I'll go to every holiday season for sure. And if I invited Rick Flag from Suicide Squad and Godlock from Silent Night here, and we'll go on the road together and we'll watch some action films and some holiday films. So you're invited, good, man. Looking forward to the road trip.
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Joel.
Thanks, man.
Thanks again to Joel Kinnaman for joining us right here on Open Dialogue. You can catch the Lionsgate film Silent Night in theaters wide on December the 1st. And I want to give a shout out before I wrap to the fight choreographers and also the stunt workers, the stunt talent in this film. John Woo, as you heard me say, is a poet, and you definitely get a taste of that poetry in this film, Silent Night. So check it out in theaters. Silent Night. Thanks for joining us right here on Meet Me at the Movies. And thanks again to Joel Kinnaman.
Hi, and welcome into Meet Me in the Movies Open Dialogue. This is Thomas Manning, and today it's really a privilege to be sharing my recent interview with Lily Gladstone, lead actress from Killers of the Flower Moon, the new Martin Scorsese film. And in this 5-minute junket slot, I was able to speak with Lily about the importance of family and community to her, and how that manifests itself in her creativity and in her career as a performer. Also got to ask her about the work from Julie O'Keefe, the lead Osage costume consultant on Killers of the Flower Moon. I actually interviewed Julie last month after the release of the film, so I enjoyed hearing from Lily's perspective as an actor, the importance of Julie's role on the film, and just that collaborative experience as an actor in filmmaking. So thank you so much again for watching and listening as we speak with Lily Gladstone about Killers of the Flower Moon. Hope you enjoy. Hi, Lily. I'm Thomas Manning with WGWG. It's really a privilege to speak with you today, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Thomas.
Of course. And I'm going to head right into it. I know that your community and your family are extremely important to you on so many levels, both personally and creatively. And that really manifests in the projects that you take on as an actor and the stories you tell. So I definitely want to give you the chance to speak more to the influence of your community in multiple aspects of your life and how you continue to draw from that in everything you do.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it always comes from community, you know. Early on my res, I was an exceptionally expressive and exuberant kid. And I noticed, especially there was a real stark contrast to when I was at home on the Blackfeet Nation with my community, how my, my aunties, my uncles, just adults in the community encouraged that. Really, first time that people saw me in a play, they were so supportive and telling my parents that it's what I needed to keep doing. And then we moved to the city, and that same sort of person that I was didn't necessarily have a place. I was told to be a little bit more contained, a little bit more mellow, a little bit more palatable, both by adults and by peers. I mean, not to say that I wasn't teased growing up on the res either, but it's just different, you know, when it's coming from your cousins versus when it's coming from classmates. But yeah, I think there was always a real confidence that I had in what I wanted to do because it was so enforced by community, which is a very cultural thing where I grew up, Blackfeet specifically, and I don't want to get too into it because it's a long conversation, but anybody who's familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of need is less familiar with his later draft of that later in life after spending time with my people, with Siksika in Canada, which is part of the Blackfoot Confederacy. What Maslow saw was that society's end goal is not to create a bunch of individualized, self-actualized people. Self-actualization is the basis of the pyramid in Blackfoot society. Your community lifts you up, supports what you want to do, and that leads toward cultural perpetuity, which in the end, I feel as a Native person, stories like this are going to serve. It's showing that Osage people didn't perish during the Reign of Terror, very much still here and are moving forward together as community and in perpetuity of culture.
And looking specifically to Killers of the Flower Moon, I'd love to talk about the work by Julie O'Keefe, the lead Osage wardrobe consultant on the film. I had the privilege of speaking with her last month, so I'd love to have you share from your perspective as an actor about the significance of her work and how those wardrobe choices helped you tap into the heart of your performance.
As an actor, wardrobe is always the last element before audience. It's the character and how they move, how they breathe, how they have to pace themselves is fully influenced by what they're wearing. And I remember in one of my first fittings with Julie when I had my broadcloth skirt laid on and when I was cinched into it to keep the little butterfly fold on the side, and it immediately like corseted me in and I could feel it. I said to Julie, you know, I really understand now how the Osage Nation gave birth to America's first prima ballerina, Maria Tallchief. Like, you watch Maria Tallchief in any of her dances that you can find them on YouTube, and you can't tear your eyes off of her. She is so regal. She is so powerful, and I could feel that. And it, even though Molly was also, you know, a more introverted person and contending with this illness of diabetes the whole time, that lift that you get from how you wear your blanket, how you hold yourself was everything.
Well, Lily, again, it was really an honor to be able to speak with you today, and congrats on the film. I also want to mention that I loved your work in The Unknown Country.
Thank you.
Such a beautiful film.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully we're able to share more conversations in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a
You have a
pleasure,
great day.
Thomas. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us right here on Meet Me at the Movies, an open dialogue interview special. Stick around after the break. We're going to be back with the director of John Wick 4, and also we're going to be spending some time with a talking goat from the new Disney animated film Wish. Stick around after this quick intermission.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a film?
Hi, I'm Shara Miller, the host of Artworks. Each month we bring to you wonderful, talented artists from here in Cleveland County and the region. We have artists, we have potters, we have painters, we have musicians, we have actors. We just have wonderful artists that come to you and tell you about all that they're doing, their creativity, what inspires them. Join me here on Artworks each month on C19. You can also watch us online at C19 TV.
Education is our most powerful tool to improve and change our world. Hi, I'm Rhonda Benfield, your host for School Matters. Join me for a new program every other week with information from and about the students and staff of Cleveland County Schools. Discover what our schools are doing to challenge students and help them reach their full potential. You can catch us on Spectrum Cable Channel 19 or stream us live on C19.tv.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a film?
Welcome back to this Meet Me at the Movies open dialogue interview special right here on C19 TV. Thomas and I got a chance to chat before the break with Joel Kinnaman from the Lionsgate film Silent Night. You can find that in theaters now. And also Martin Scorsese's latest project, an awards contender, Killers of the Flower Moon. Thomas got a chance to chat with Lily Gladstone. Hope you got a chance to check that out and enjoy those interviews. We sure did enjoy being a part of those for sure. And this half of the show, we're going to offer some interviews with Chad Stahelski. He's the director and the producer of John Wick 4, and also Alan Tudyk. Alan is from Disney's Wish, which is now in theaters. Now, John Wick 4 is on target to get some really strong awards love as we wrap the season, as we look into award season, because the stunt work and this being a solid action film for 2023, you may be seeing this on some year-end list. So let's check in with Thomas and Chad and talking about John Wick 4.
I'm Thomas Manning with Meet Me in the Movies. Chad, it's great to be speaking with you today, and I appreciate your time.
Of course, Thomas, pleasure to meet you.
And definitely want to ask about your work with Scott Adkins in this film. I've loved his work for a while now and his collaborations with Jesse V. Johnson. And I think anybody who's familiar with Scott knew that it was really a matter of time before he came into the John Wick franchise. But we might have all been a bit surprised by the uniqueness of his character, Killa. And that gave him a chance to do something a lot different than what he typically does. So what were those early conversations between you and Scott like, and generally how was that collaborative experience with him?
I knew Scott from the stunt community. I was a fan like yours. I'd seen him way back in Undisputed, and I'd seen him in Ninja and some of his other work. And we ran in the same kind of circles with the martial arts stuntmen. We had actually met. I think first time I met him was right before John Wick, and then we had gotten together right afterwards. And I mean, I'm like you. Of course, it makes perfect sense. In John Wick 2, I had like Gary Daniels. I had like Daniel Bernhardt in the first one. We were looking to get other people to fill in because I really like bringing up or mixing my cast with the martial art world and the more of the mainstream kind of casting choices. But when we finally got together on John Wick 3, our schedules weren't quite right. And again, being a new director, I quite hadn't figured it out. I mean, it's very easy to put Scott in as, assassin number 2, bad guy number 5, soldier number 6, just so you do a really cool fight scene. But by that time, I had seen Scott in so many other films, and I really loved him in Accident Man. All it's like, Scott has a pretty great range that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. So I remember Scott calling me after John Wick 3 had come out, a little while after we had done all the tours and stuff. And he was like, dude, what's up? You got to put me in number 4. We got to work together. I'm like, give me a little time. I have an idea, but it's not going to be what you think. Just give me like a month or two. So he keeps calling. He's like, come on, what's going on? And I called him back and go, look, I've got this idea. And I was worried that Scott wasn't going to like it. I thought, again, for those out there, Scott is literally model-esque. He's chiseled out of stone. He's in great shape and an incredibly handsome dude and, incredibly athletic. And my whole thing was, I'm a huge Sammo Hung fan, and SPL is one of my favorite Donnie Yen Sammo movies. So, I had this idea, look, I'm going to put Scott in a suit and make him look not like Scott Adkins. So the gag would be you'd see this incredibly large character, larger than life even the way he acted. He's going to do 7 pages of dialogue. You're going to just dismiss him as the baddie. And then he's going to fight John Wick and do a spinning hook kick, and you'd be like, whoa, who is this guy? He's like the English Sammo Hung. And Scott didn't miss a beat on the Zoom call. He's like, yeah, and I'm going to shuffle cards, and I'm going to have a gold tooth, and I want to do a Turkish, Russian, German, Berlinish, something accent.
I thought we play a game. One hand. The winner decides who lives and who does not.
I'm like, oh, this guy gets it. Instead of going, what are you talking about, dude? He jumped in and I don't know if you know what it has to go through for the prosthetics. I mean, it was 4.5, 5 hours before call every day, and you've never seen a happier guy on set. For those that don't know Scott, he's one of the most cheerful guys anyways. But when he's putting on the make, he just loved transforming. And I think he killed it, man. It's one of my favorite scenes.
Well, Chad, I know we have to wrap here, but I really do appreciate your time, and it was a privilege to be able to speak with you, and hopefully we'll share more conversations in the future.
Of course, Thomas. Thank you very much, man.
Have a great one.
You too.
And really excited to be able to spend some time with Alan Tudyk from the Disney film Wish. And Disney's been celebrating 100 years of Disney animation, and Wish will actually give you several nods to the legacy of the studio. So if you get a chance to check it out, you'll see that. Also, Alan stars as a goat. He voices the goat character Valentino, who has a wish to be able to speak, and he becomes an amazing supporting character throughout this film of wishes coming true and wishes going unfulfilled. Several years ago, I fell in love with this short-lived TV series that has this incredible cult following all these years later. It's called Firefly. There was a movie called Serenity that wrapped it up, and Alan was one of my favorite characters by the name of Wash, and I'm really happy to be able to spend some time with him. And I may even get a chance to throw in maybe a question relating to Wash as well. So stick around right here on Open Dialogue. Meet me at the movies as we talk to Alan. Alan, how are you, sir?
Hi, how's it going? I'm good.
Hey, man, just happy to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Cheers.
Well, I tell you, man, I've seen screaming goats, I've seen fainting goats, and I even had an uncle who we called Goat, but I've never seen one quite like Valentino. So tell me where you found joy in this character, because I had a lot of joy in watching Valentino.
Thanks. Yeah, I really enjoyed everything about him. He's such a positive little character. He's loyal to Asha. And the lead character in the movie. And he's just gung-ho. He's up for an adventure. Whatever you want, he's there. There's one part where he jumps into the water. At one point, I cannot swim, as he's over the water because he's going to go. It's just that he doesn't care. Just for everyone to know, I cannot swim. I am now going to jump in the water. He's a very funny little goat.
Well, my bride, Beth, has this supernatural ability to be able to recognize people's voices, especially animated characters. Me, not so much. I have to think about it, but she just right away, she's like, oh, yeah, I know who that is. I know who that is. And you have voiced like a bazillion characters. So tell me, how did you find Valentino's voice, or did Valentino's voice find you?
Interesting. I guess it depends on how you look at it. I went into the booth and was there with the directors. They showed me a little animation of Valentino, just sort of looking at a butterfly, sort of chasing a butterfly. And they said, what do you think? How does he sound? What do you think?
Wow.
that was really it. And then we played around, and that was the first recording session. So it started out with a really high voice and tried a few things there, and with him getting his voice sort of up here. You know, his name was Valentino. I thought maybe he had to have an Italian accent, and you know, maybe he has a, and it did that. Nothing really kind of caught. Nothing felt right. And I said, well, can't you just have this? What if he's even though he's such a little cute goat with those little yellow pajamas on, that he sees himself as this manly man and is and has this voice, and that's how it happened.
Well, you seem to have so much fun doing these animated animated characters, and I've seen a lot of behind the scenes work with you acting them out. And tell me, how do you prepare differently for live action compared to these animated characters? What is the difference that you look at and you're able to kind of pull from within?
It's such a different process when you're on camera doing a character. You know, a lot of it's laid out in front of you, and you figure out who they are from what's in the script, and you sort of mold your body into that, whatever that means. You're going to grow your hair long, you're going to put on a little weight, maybe they have an accent, that sort of thing. And then you know what you're going to do. With Disney in these movies, this movie was a 3-year process. So it had different ideas that came and went, because they can put it together and look at it and go, you know what, that isn't working. Let's put this in. Let's do more of this character. And so they change and grow. So it's moving while you're moving. It's a conversation between you and the writers and the animators. It's constantly evolving. So you just kind of stay on your toes, and when you go into record, you're just ready to go with whatever. Your character can suddenly have a new idea, or suddenly be in a song that wasn't in before.
Yeah.
Just be ready to go.
So one more question. Now, this one is kind of a crossover question. So if Wash from Firefly and Valentino from Wish were going on a road trip, if they were going to plan a road trip anywhere, where would they go and why?
On a road trip. So it's got to be, you know, there's a great little diner in New Mexico, in Tucumcari, New Mexico, that has pancakes. Has great, fantastic, some of the best pancakes. They'd be going there. That, obviously.
Because of the pancakes.
Yeah, because the best pancakes. You're gonna make that drive for the best pancakes. And those two guys, they like a good sugar fix.
Well, I really appreciate your time again, and I want to let you know that after watching the film, I have done some research, and I've discovered that unsanded mahogany really is the best of all woodworking materials. So thank you for introducing me to that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Be careful of splinters, always.
Especially if you use your backside against that, for sure. Any final thoughts you want to make sure you share about this film or the character you would love our audience to know?
I guess the thing that struck me is that it's a new musical. It's like a new idea. So many musicals that are happening these days in Broadway and wherever come from other properties or come from a book or from other places. This is just a brand new, made up musical, original, with original songs, and Julia Michaels does the music, and she's fantastic. So if you want to see a good, funny, original musical, go check out Wish. Only in theaters.
Awesome. Alan, thank you so much. Great chatting with you. Look forward to it next time.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good talking to you.